All right. Well, happy Friday. Yay, it's Friday. I love Friday. It's a good day. Hey, I wanted to come on here and talk about, you might look at the title and go, "Is your job killing you?" I don't know. Is it? Well, I don't know. Is it? Well, I wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about that because of a podcast recording that I just finished with my friend Sasja Chomos, that's going to be coming out here in a few weeks. But wanted to talk a little bit about that topic and also give you a little update because it's Friday. So I'll kind of give you a week recap as well. So I know on Jamming with Jason podcast this week, it was about feed fear a suck it sandwich. Okay. And because I know, many of you kind of had seen one of the posts that I did before where I'd gone in and gotten a shave and a little trim on my beard here, and realize, again, that a lot of what is holding us back in our life is fear. And in fact, a lot of the emotions that we get stuck in, like anger and depression and anxiety and some of those kind of things, actually all stem back to fear. And so, I did that post before. I talked a little bit about that. Excuse me. Wow. I'll take a little drink here. This is live. Hey, Amon, how are you today? So I had done a whole podcast episode actually about fear and the fact, you probably know about a knuckle sandwich, right? You've heard about a knuckle sandwich. I'm going to give you a knuckle sandwich, kind of means like giving somebody a punch. So I thought it would be fun to do one on giving fear a suck it sandwich, right? So the equivalent of trying to get fear out of your life, and go through some kind of practical tips and things that you can do there to get fear out of your life. Because ultimately, unless you actually push through your fear, you're never going to get to the other side of the fear. And so we talk about some ways in that, for us to be able to get through fear. Now, the other reason, the main topic why I wanted to jump on this live today, is the fact that, is your job killing you? Now, you might look at that and think, surely this is a bit of hyperbole, Jason, and I know that you tend to be over dramatic. But I just finished recording a podcast episode with my friend Sasha. That'll be coming out. It'll be coming out in a few weeks. So, just a little precursor of what's going to be coming out there. But from her experience, her own personal experience, some experience that she's had with other people, my own personal experience and experience that I've had with other people, what we're finding is literally jobs are killing people. And so, how does that show up? Well, a lot of times what ends up happening is there might be little aches or pains that are going on in your body, okay, that you might not even realize. And you might think, well, I'm just getting older, or maybe the weather's just changing, or that's what it is that's causing the problem. But so I'm going to go through and I'm going to list off some different physical ailments, if you will, okay, here in just a minute. But whether you realize it or not, a lot of those things may be showing up in your life, not because the weather's changing, but because of the stress and the pressure that you're feeling in your job. Okay. So as an example, I was, you might have seen my post about the barbecue that I did before. And so when I went into the home improvement store, I had some questions. So one of the people that was working there, we started talking and, about some of the different options and what he liked and some of the different things like that. And without me even bringing it up, he just started sharing with me the fact that he used to be a human resources director. And in fact, he'd only worked at this store for about a month. But he was sharing with me that, he was getting so much pressure at work. He was feeling so much stress at work that finally he said, I've got to quit. I've got to get away from this for a little while. And I'm just going to go take another job where I don't really have to think. I don't have to take work home with me anymore. And so he quit and he went to work in this big box home improvement store. And what was interesting is he told me, he said, I've been working here now for 2 months. And in 2 months, I've lost 20 pounds and I feel so much better. So here's some of the questions to think about. You might not realize, but it's just for you to start asking yourself some questions. See if you feel like maybe a lot of the stress that's going on in your life is actually coming from your job, and some things that you can do different about it. Now, like I said, I'm not going to get into all that stuff here in this live because it's only for a few minutes, but we really dig into detail much more in that episode that's going to be coming out with Sasha. But so here's some questions, right? Are you gaining weight and you don't really know why? Right. You could be maybe emotional eating or some other things, but, is there some weight gain coming on? Are you having trouble losing weight? Are you having trouble sleeping? Do you have headaches? Do you have back pain? Right. And again, I'm not talking about, I went out and worked hard in the garden and I lifted something heavy and I tweaked my back. But do you have back pain? Do you have headaches frequently? Do you get pains in your neck or in your upper shoulder area? A lot of times, those are different places in our body where actually the stress ends up showing up. Okay. And I'll give you, real life example. One of my friends that's a massage therapist, she was telling me a story about somebody who came in and was really complaining about, pain in the neck, needed to be massaged, because they were having this pain in their neck. And so just kind of for fun, she used a little NLP technique and said, "Oh, you're having a pain in your neck. What's their name?" And just without even thinking, the other person just blurted out a name. And so my friend was like, "Oh, isn't that interesting? So this person is your pain in the neck, right?" And like I said, from a lot of people that I know that are in healing like that, this comes up quite a bit, right? That there might be a pain in the neck. So, you know, is that pain in the neck maybe coming from your work, from the job, the people that you're working with, maybe your boss, other people like that, right? Because a lot of times, we have there's a lot of stress that comes in from work, and sometimes, the stress that we feel from other people, they may not have any idea that they're causing us stress. Okay. Um, but we're still kind of taking on that stress. And as Sasha and I were talking about this earlier, and again, not going to steal the whole thunder. You got to listen to the whole podcast episode when it comes out to get the whole thing. But I just wanted to come on here and give you a couple of tips, at least for today, right? Is the first thing to start thinking about is, are you engaging in certain numbing or distracting behaviors? So what that means is, let's say, again, you come home from a hard day at work and you just feel like, I just need that glass of wine, or I just need to have, some whiskey and just chill out, maybe, and use alcohol to help you kind of relax at the end of the day. Now, if you're doing that every day, right? Maybe that's something for you to start thinking about. Maybe you are carrying on some stress that's coming home with you from work that you didn't even realize, right? And again, the guy from the home improvement store that I was telling you about, he told me the words he used. He's like, "I needed a job where I didn't take work home with me." And he wasn't talking about like taking your laptop home and doing stuff. It was probably that, but where he could just shut his brain off after he left from work, right? Because he was always thinking about it. There was always pressure. There was always things going on. So, are you doing some numbing things like that? Other ways that people numb could be retail therapy, buying stuff, overeating, binge eating, sweets, other different things like that. So one of the first questions would be is, well, are you having some of these pains that I'm talking about, right? Do you have headaches all the time? Are you having trouble sleeping? Do you notice that you're starting to engage in some of these more numbing behaviors? And it again, there's nothing wrong with, having a stressful day, having a glass or two of wine. Nothing wrong with that at all, right? I do that sometimes. But if you're doing that every night, then maybe there's something that you need to confront yourself about, or start asking yourself some more questions about. Okay. And so again, so those are some things for you to start thinking about. Now, up above, however, whichever on the social medias that you are. I put a link in too because, I know that you might be watching this right now and you're like, Jason, I totally agree. I totally get you. I am feeling that, but there's no way in hell I'm going to mark love or I'm going to put, yeah, I totally feel suicidal because of my work too. You're not going to want to probably put that in the comments. And I understand that. So I've created a Facebook group that we're opening up so that way we can actually get in and talk about some of these things without the whole world seeing it, right? Because again, these are things that are personal. They're things that maybe you might be embarrassed about or you don't know how to fix. You'd like some questions answered. You'd like to know that you're not alone. Because that's one of the other things that I wanted to get across today with this video is if you're having any of these feelings, you're not alone. I felt this way. Sasja's felt this way. We talk about other people, obviously with confidences, but other people that we know, other people that we have worked with who are going through some of these same things. So first thing I want you to know is you're not alone if you're feeling that. And if you want some help, if you want other people to talk to, join the Facebook group and let's actually start having conversations in a more psychologically safe place where you can actually get some help. Because again, as I told you, if you're having some of these pains, if you're engaging in distracting or numbing behavior routinely, right, because you don't want to feel the emotions, then you need to start learning how to actually deal with those emotions, how you can actually process them, actually push through them as quick as you can so that you're not having those things show up in different pain points in your body. Okay. And one of the tips for being able to do that is just being able to talk to somebody about it. Right now, I know that takes courage a lot of times is to reach out for help actually takes a lot of courage. But the problem is if we don't do that, then we get to be like a pressure cooker, right? Everything's going on in our head and we just feel under all of this pressure. And the problem is just like a pressure cooker, if you don't let some of the steam off, if you don't talk about it, if you don't start learning some of these mindset practices that I help teach people, then what ends up happening is the pressure cooker blows up. And when things blow up, there's serious ramifications, right? You could end up, having a major health issue as a result of the stress that you're under. In fact, stress is actually the number one leading cause to most of the health issues that people are dealing with. It can even lead to, and again, it's not hyperbole, folks, on the title that I put on this video, but literally some people actually commit suicide because they feel under this pressure and they just feel like they're at the end of their rope. They don't know what else to do. And that's the only choice that they see that's available for them. Now, if you're feeling like that, reach out to somebody. There are suicide prevention hotlines because the world needs you. Okay. And so if you feel like you're at that edge, then please get some help from someone. But again, hopefully you're not to that point, but you're just starting to notice some of these things and you want things to be different in your life. Well, you don't have to go quit your job right away because there's also some things that you can do to be able to help you manage it. Even some simple things like, if your boss is driving you crazy, what if you just have an honest conversation about how that makes you feel or what you would like to see different? Right now, again, you have to learn how to do that. You want to do that in a respectful way, but having those kind of discussions, because I'll tell you, most people, they have no idea the impact that they may be having on you, right? They're just unaware of it. They're focused in their own little tunnel, just trying to get done what they've got to get done. And they don't have any idea that because they used a particular word, because they said something to you in a certain way, that you took offense from it, right? And so sometimes having those discussions is a great way to get started. Another, again, is to know how to understand the emotions that you're dealing with and start to actually do some little things to be able to let some of that steam off. And so I'll just share with you one here real quick today, because like I said, more of the information is going to be in the podcast coming out. So you'll want to be watching for that episode when it comes out. But here's a simple thing. You go get a pillow. If you're angry or you're sad, grab a pillow, put it over your face. Now don't smother yourself too long because you don't you don't want to make yourself pass out. But just scream and yell into that pillow, right? And set yourself a timer. Only do it for a minute or two. But the physical fact of doing that will actually help to release some of that steam that's going on within your body. Now, like I said, there's a whole bunch of other things that you can do as well. We don't have time for that today on the live, but I just wanted to start getting you thinking about it. And again, are some pains showing up in your body different places? Do you feel like you're stressed all the time? Are you engaging in some of these, routine patterns of numbing or distracting so that you don't have to feel those emotions? And if you are, just start asking yourself some questions, confront yourself, see what's really going on, and then start trying to use some of these little mindset practices to be able to help you push through the emotion. Because just like fear, right? I told you before, the only way through fear is to push through fear. The only way to push through any other emotion that you don't want to feel is to push through and release that emotion. And so again, you're going to hear me talk more and more about that as well, but got to go get ready for my next appointment today. So have a great Friday. And like I said, if you want a space, like I talked about, the link for the Facebook group is up above. Go out there and join up. Hey, Robert Berry, I see that you're here, man. How you doing? Sometimes LinkedIn on the streaming profile lets me know who people are. Sometimes they don't. Like even sometimes on Facebook, it might be your security preferences or whatever. But I know Facebook user says yes, Jason, 100%. So thank you. And I know Amon was looking through on YouTube. So I know usually when I do this, I try to stream out on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube because everybody has their own preference on where they want to be. So I want to make sure that it's out there for everybody. So anyway, with that, I'm going to sign off. Have a great weekend. Take some time just to relax. Here in the U.S., it's our Memorial Day weekend. So we have Monday off. So hopefully you have Monday off as well. And you'll have some good relaxing time. And yeah, Robert, you're right? Robert just said you definitely have to push through fear. Absolutely. You have to push through fear. If you don't, you'll just stay stuck where you are. And it's really the same thing with any other emotion. If you're feeling sad, and there's nothing wrong with feeling sad, right? But if you never push through the sadness, you will stay stuck in the sadness. And as I said, there's ways for you to get through. There's ways for you to deal with that. Because I'm guessing you don't want to be sad all the time. You don't want to be angry all the time. You don't want to be in fear or anxiety all the time, right? So learn some of these ways, take a listen to the podcast, listen to some of the other stuff that I've done, and just push through it. Because the beauty is on the other side when you come out on the other side. So catch you on the next video.